Hello, everyone. Hi, everybody. I'm just gonna wait for the host. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hi.
Yeah, sorry
Hi.
about that, everyone. We are having, or we had a little technical issues, which has
Okay.
been sorted. So, Jennifer, please, you can continue.
All right. Hello, everybody. I think it would be nice to know where everyone is calling from, whether it's Lagos, whether it's Nigeria, UK, Ghana. I would like to know where everyone is joining from exactly. So you can just put on the chat. Yeah, I can just put down the chat. So Buhari, while they put down the chat, you can go ahead. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for that. Basically, thank you. I think everybody has introduced themselves already. Because the first thing for us to do was to introduce ourselves, which I can see that everybody has done. The next thing is for me to introduce Jupiter Academy. I'm sure some of us already know what Jupiter Academy is, and Jupiter Academy basically is an edtech company focused in taking tech courses, teaching tech courses, and we have about four courses: data science, data analysis, UI UX, and product management. By 2024, we also have more courses, but for now, we just have four courses, and the purpose of this masterclass basically is to help beginners or people that are looking to transition into tech to have a smooth and um, smooth sailing into tech. And at the end of this masterclass, we also want to give somebody or award somebody 100% scholarship. And for you to be a winner of this, we have like a little criteria for you to just follow, and one of them would be for you to be engaged until the end of the program, meaning you have to be here to the end of the masterclass. Number two, you also have to be active. If you know you have questions or comments, try and do that. Try and drop them. Then you also have to show demonstrate genuine willingness to commit to learning. And finally, you have to submit the correct answers to the facilitators' questions. So Jennifer is going to give us some questions or drop a link to an assessment. We just need you guys to answer it, and we just pick somebody. So yeah, that is all. And Jennifer, please, you can continue with the masterclass. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Buhari, for that very short introduction. So, hello, everyone. I mean, it's nice to see everybody. Okay, I'm calling from Lagos, Osun State, Enugu. That's like different places in Nigeria. Yeah, so welcome everyone. It's nice to have everybody on this call. I'm Jennifer Daniel, Jennifer Uzamaka Daniel. I love being called Uzamaka every time. I'm actually making this call from Lagos. So, I mean, if you're in Lagos, hello. And I am a product designer at InterSwitch Group. I was formerly a product design lead at Access Bank, and also I am the design founder of UX Resource Hub. So UX Resource Hub is basically a website where you, as aspiring designers, learn UI UX, get access to resources for free. It's very awesome. So I'm gonna drop the link, uxresourcehub.com. So yeah, I think that's like an introduction about myself. I don't know if Buhari would like to say anything before I proceed. Please let me know. All right. So let me know if you can hear me. All right. All right. Um. So today we'll be looking at introduction to UI UX. I'm pretty sure everyone, or like a majority of everyone here, are just probably entering the UX space or have entered the UX space, and maybe haven't really gotten their first gig, and maybe wants to get a well or good grasp about the UI UX field. All right, so today we'll be looking at a very beautiful topic, and thanks to Jupiter Academy for giving you this privilege to be able to um you know gain this knowledge. All right, so I'm just going to quickly share my screen, right? So I'm going to share my entire window. All right, I'm going to share my entire window. And yeah, I am at the
Jennifer, can you hear? You're back
Yeah,
on
I can
stage
hear
now.
you. All right, so I've been waiting to put on stage. Thank you very much. So sorry about that, everyone. My Wi-Fi tripped. Hopefully, I just think I fixed it, so it should be fine now. Okay, so I was share my screen. So for the sake of this class, I will probably have to extend the time to another 30 minutes. That's probably like 12:30, and I'll make
Yeah,
sure
that's fine.
that yeah, that's okay. Thank you. All right, I'll make sure that everyone learns properly and if you yeah. All right, so this is where we are right now. I was talking about Jupiter Academy being very awesome for making, giving me the privilege or giving you the privilege to be able to learn this because you honestly don't get this around. Let me be honest. So kudos Jupiter Academy. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Um, let's move forward, right? Let's talk about the door and its knob, right? So the reason why I'm going to be on this stage on this with this view is because I need to know what's happening at the other side of this video, right? And I'm pretty sure everyone can see the video. Please Barry, you can comment or say something. Can you see my screen? Is it visible enough? Do I have to zoom in or something? All right, so I'm pretty sure I don't need to zoom in. Yeah. All right, please confirm that you can see my screen. You can see my beautiful face. I'm saying thank you so much, Peter. All right, so I'm pretty sure everyone can see my screen. You can't see my screen. Okay. Yeah, you can see me, but not my screen, which is okay, which is that's fine. All right, that's fine. You can see me, but not my screen. So I'm sure you can see my screen now. So you can see, let's talk about the doorknob. Just confirm that you can see it so that I can move forward. Can you see this? Let's talk about the doorknob. Okay. All right. So just I am sharing my screen. So this is not a fault of mine because I'm sharing my screen right now. So I need to be sure that all right. So people are saying they can't see my screen. So let me present again. All right. Just give me a minute. Thank you. So I'm trying to fix this, right? Because I'm sharing my screen and it's not showing. So I'm trying to share the slide instead. All right. So I'm definitely sure you should be able to see the slide now. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm sure this is obvious on the screen. You can obviously see this, right? Breaking into UI UX. You can see. So I had to, send in my. All right. Thank you very much. So let's move forward, right? So introduction to UI UX, right? So let's talk about the door and its knob, right? So if you see a door, when you everybody has a door in their houses. So what makes up a door basically? Its feature. Imagine a door without a knob. Imagine a door without a knob. So the problem is you will not be able to. So some knobs for doors have, give you directions to be able to know if you're going in or you're going out. Sometimes they will tell you push or pull, right? So imagine a door without that knob that it has, right? You will not know how to open, and sometimes you may even get locked out. The knob helps you open the door properly to be able to go into the next building or into the next space that you want to go into, right? So the door, for instance, right, is the UI. So let's assume the door is the interface of the experience that you're going to have, right? The door is the interface, the knob is also the interface, and you being able to open the door and go to the next place is what is called an experience. So we have experiences every single day of our lives, and that's why in different devices, there are some things that are obvious to you that you see in real life, just like a trash can, right? Obviously, if you want to throw something outside, or if you want to delete something on your phone, right? Obviously, the icons that show there is a trash can, because in real time, if you want to actually sweep and throw things outside, is a trash can that you see, right? All right, so let's move forward. So what exactly is UI design? And I like the fact that I'm actually seeing the chart and I can see the slide on the same screen, so that I know where I can always pick up from. I know what everyone is saying. So please keep dropping comments. I can see your comments, keep dropping the comments. So what exactly is UI design? UI stands for user interface. That is an interface, right? And for the sake of this class, since you all can see my screen, right? So an interface is this live that is showing. An interface is this 19 plus 19 minutes 20 seconds that has been showing here. An interface is this camera that is allowing you to see my face. An interface is this text that is showing you what is UI design. Those are interface are more visually inclined. There are things that users can visually see. It makes up what the experience that they have using that product, right? So user interface focuses on anticipating what users might need to do and ensuring that the used interface has elements that are easy to access, understand, and use to facilitate those actions. What I say, such as buttons, the menu, the text boxes, and graphical representation that allow users to control and interact with any software or device, right? What I'm using right now is a device. I'm using a laptop. And this product I'm using right now is called StreamYard. So StreamYard allows me to be able to share my screen. So me being able to see a present icon is an interface. Me being able to read things that are happening around this product or around this website is an interface, right? You being able to see slide 4 and you're seeing this icon that shows that it can take me to the next slide is an interface. It helps you because you cannot have an experience without the interface, right? So UI UX, when somebody say, oh, can you take out the UI from the UX? Even the UI, even the interface has experience. There are things that inform those interface to take place, right? All right, thank you for telling me you're following. It makes me move on. So what exactly is UX design? We've explained what UI design is. So what exactly is this UX design? UX design stands for the user experience. It refers to the overall experience that user has with the product. Like I said right now, me being able to share my slide at the same time you see my face, at the same time me being able to read comments all at the same time is a wonderful experience for me. Imagine if I can't even see the comments, or I'm in another place. I don't even know when my network trips off. I don't even know when I'm out of this, video call. That is poor. That's a poor experience for. Exactly. So that's a poor experience for StreamYard. So me being able to share my slide, I can always see what Joshua is saying. I can see what Beauty is saying. It's a very beautiful experience for me. And me here, the host on the other hand, can see how many people are joining, what people are saying. It's an experience. So not blindsiding users, and users being able to experience and adopt your product properly is what user experience is. So like I said before, you cannot actually have an interface without an experience, and you cannot have an experience without an interface. They all work hand in hand together. So what makes up the UI? So like I said, the layout. What is the layout? Whether you're using a web, whether you're designing for web, you design for mobile. And sometimes maybe when you're working in an organization, organizations like fintech might expect you to design for POS. Don't worry, you might not get there in your UI/UX career, but you might do that. Because when I got into, I've been working in fintech for a few years now, and I started. They told me to design POS, and I'm like, hey God, what can I not? What would I not design this UI/UX thing that I'm doing? So the thing now is, there are a lot of things that make up this UI, right? And like I said, UI works hand in hand with the UX. So the layout, right? This is a screen. This is obviously a website view, right? The buttons, right? These buttons are mostly call to actions. They help you, perform, take actions on a particular product or service, right? Like I can see, there are different. Yeah, you hear the word CTA, 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 CTA. The full meaning of CTA is call to action, right? So I can see the mute button here, that allows me, if I click this right now. So what I said was, I'm pretty sure you did not hear me say that because I had clicked on the mute button, right? So mute buttons always give you, the leverage to be able to perform actions. And buttons are always highlighted, right? Anytime a button color is on default, anytime a button color is in a default color. So default colors are bland colors like brown, gray, especially grayscale colors. So that shows you that the buttons are inactive, right? So when the button is highlighted, this shows you that there's an action that they want you to take, right? For example, you go to any website now and you see, oh, training. Take for example, we go to Jupiter Academy website and they tell you, oh, we are offering this so scholarship, grab yours now. So the grab yours now can be a button, right? And that helps you go to the next stage and perform that particular action that you want to perform. Typography, obviously, there are text. So there are some things that inform your design, right? You cannot just write text because you want to write text. There are design systems that inform the type of typography you want to, take. For a typography now, there's what they call H1. So the H1 obviously will not have the same weight. So if the H1 is a bold colored text, if the H1 is bold colored, maybe the size of the H1, that's header one, is like 40, but it's like bold, right? Your H2 can be semi-bold and can be like 32, and your medium can be like, there are different things that make up the typography. So you as a designer need to know how to use typographies in your design work, right? So you have images. Hi, you can see my face, right? And you can also see, what you can see is people on the chat. You can see their icon, so you know that, oh, Oyewole Beauty is a girl, Omo, Emmanuel is a boy, because the images show you that, oh, that's an avatar of a boy, right? So it's, there are some things that these things help you to identify things without trying to think so much. As a UI/UX designer, these users shouldn't come to your product and waste even 5 seconds or 3 seconds understanding what to do, right? So you need to create designs that are very, very much understanding, and that's why there's something called usability testing, right? So we'll go through that. So colors, use of colors, illustration also makes up, icons make it up. So Peter clapped for me, and Peter used a clap icon. It shows that Peter is clapping, right? If Peter just said follow through, right, I would just say, okay, Peter is saying following through. But because Peter just shared a clap icon, right, I know that Peter is clapping for me. So thank you very much, Peter, right? So that's like what icons do, right? Icons just show, it can be used as a brand identity, even illustration can be that fine, or they can be used as, they can help users understand what exactly that element is showing, right? So yeah, so we also have the icons for YouTube to show us that, oh, me, I can see that it's YouTube that everybody is streaming from, which is actually beautiful for me. So we have forms, we have modals that pop up and say, oh, error state, or oh my God, sorry, transfer successful, payment failed. Those are modals that you have to do. We also have navigations that help you know, okay, this is where this is stacked. You can get the menu button from here. You can see all products from this place, and we also have the low and high fidelity Wi-Fi. So what we are looking right now, what we're looking at right now on our screen is a high fidelity wireframe, right? So wireframe can come in low fidelity, and low fidelity sometimes help you to be able to, and when you design in low fidelity, right, you are designing for mostly functional, not like as if you're not designing for functionality in high fidelity, but when you design for low fidelity, there's some things that are not, you're not focused on, or you're not focused on the color, things that don't matter, you're focused more on the functionality. So they always advise UX designers to always design from lo-fi, and from lo-fi, so that you don't design on hi-fi and then you receive feedback and tell you, yeah, start doing your work from scratch again, right? And so you have to design on lo-fi so that you're looking, okay, this is where functionality takes place, and then on hi-fi when your design is, when your lo-fi is good to go. Oh, can I see a lo-fi illustration, please? So now the thing is, let me switch to share my screen. um okay, so I'm really battling with sharing my screen. So if you Google low fidelity low fidelity wireframes on Google, I'm definitely sure they will show you a whole lot of low fidelity wireframe. And sometimes people sketch, right? People sketch, use their biro or their pen and sketch out screens for them to be able to, see what and what elements and what, design should actually go into that particular flow, right? Can't read the text on the screen. I don't know why you can't read that, but I'll try to make sure that I'm speaking properly so you can read the text on the screen, right? So what makes up the UX? The user research, right? When you do research, a lot of people say I don't like research. You must do research, right? When you do research from the beginning point, when the business has brought the problem, or there's a problem that you want to find solutions to, so you do research, qualitative and quantitative research. So quantitative research is basically like surveys where you go around and share surveys around to people to gather a full data, or you can even use your Google Forms for these surveys. And also qualitative research where you have a one-on-one interview with someone, right? So it depends on you and the kind of approach that you want to take, and so you perform research based off of that. And you also do research in designing products when there's something that they call competitive analysis, right? So during your competitive analysis, you see what your competitors are doing at the same time. Oh, thank you so much, Peter, for that. So design thinking, information architecture, interaction design, usability, accessibility, making sure that designs are accessible for people with disabilities. Like I need to be audible because YouTube gives users the access to be able to read speech, text to speech. So if I'm speaking, you can be able to read what I'm saying if you can't really hear me, right? Prototyping, user flow, personal development, A and B testing. That's what makes up the UI UX, right? So this is a typical wireframe, like I said. So this is trust me, this is an experience users will have, right? So basically, experience here is for users to be able to see that, oh, you can actually sign up with Google and Facebook. You don't necessarily have to go through the process of signing up with email or signing up with your password. If you have a Google account or Facebook account, you can sign up with those. If you forgot your password, you can retrieve your password, and the interfaces at the button, the login button, the forgot password, that's the interface, call to action, the text at the interface. And yeah, this is what a typical wireframe screen should look like, right? So moving forward, so that we are keeping to time. So like I said in the beginning, there are principles to guide designers in UI UX processes. Because you are a badass graphic designer, because I have a lot of issues with graphic designers in the house here. Because you are graphic designer, or because you're a badass designer, doesn't mean that you can place anything or any element on any screen. There are things that should inform your design processes, right? And that's why it's always good to take courses in design. You cannot just, I love self-directed learning, but please, as you're taking this self-directed learning, direct your learning to also taking courses, right? Because it helps you well. It helps you so that you can actually visually see how this thing happens, what are the principles that inform you designing, and you can actually get your hands on project works, right? What are the principles of UI UX design? Clarity. ensure that the interface is clear and easy to understand. There's no need to overly pack a lot of elements into your design, and that's why there's something called an information architecture. So what information architecture does is to help you stack up, sections into, you can stack up sections into different places, instead of having users see all the information at the same time. Users need to be able to digest information one after the other, and that's why sometimes for when you go through when you use some kind of products, like, right, let's assume you want to get onboarded on Facebook. There are steps that it take you. Facebook can, or maybe you want to get onboarded on Piggyvest or Carrywise, right? There are steps that takes you to, okay, step one, put in your email address. Step two, put in your next of kin. Step three, okay, this is your password step. So having users know, and they can see, users can actually see that, okay, maybe there are three steps that I have to take to be able to finish this particular task. Everything is visible, everything is clear. They can understand the interface. I'm not coming into this place and I'm like, what am I supposed to click on buy? What am I supposed to finish picking the item? What will I buy? I can't see. A lot of people are solving the same problem that you are solving in the market, but how do you solve yours better, right? I don't want users to be able to come into my product, and they cannot perform actions. Let them have a clear view of what to actually do. Let them have a clear view of what to do. Consistency, maintain a uniform and predictable design throughout the interface. I always say this a lot, right? Imagine I want to buy a dress for, okay, Joshua is a guy. Okay, imagine I want to buy a suit for Joshua, right? And I go walk into offline now. I walk into like a store, an e-commerce store, and I see a very nice suit that would actually, will actually suit Joshua, right? What then happens now is I look for the size. Is this Joshua's size? After I realize, oh, I look at the size, I look at the color. Is it the color I want to get? And then what happens when I'm done shopping? I go to the counter to check out. So users should be able to have that experience that they have offline, having that same e-commerce experience online. I want to transfer money to somebody physically, offline. If I want to give somebody money, I give the person, money, right? And I'm sure that is Joshua I want to give money. Oh, it's not being paid I want to give money to, right? I know it's Joshua. When you're making transfer, obviously, I know that I need to know the name of the person I'm making the transfer to, because I don't want to make mistake, and that includes me putting the bank of that person, because it's mandatory for me to do that. The same experience I have using Mr. A's transfer product is the same experience I want to have using Mr. B's transfer product. But Mr. B can have other features in their transfer product that can be mad, right? But I need to still have that same consistent experience. I forget about it. Let's even drop experience. Let's look at the interface, right? There are things that are very important coming into a website, right? Obviously, you should have the menu or navigation, right? Or you should be able to see a button that tells you to perform an action, a call to action. You cannot be say, oh, because you want to be, a very innovative, you now take things out of what people are used to. You shouldn't do that as a designer. That is very dark UX, and you shouldn't actually do that, right? He said, thanks for the suit. You're welcome. Joshua, I would answer your question. Just hold on. All right. So you shouldn't do that, right? You should maintain a consistent interface that users are used to, right? I want to click on your button should not look like rectangle, or it should not look like one sky shape, because you want to innovate. Make sure that when I come into your website, I am seeing what I'm consistent or familiar with, right? I have like a text that tells me, okay, this is what's happening here. This is the topic of today, and this is what you can do. You can there's a call to action that helps you perform actions. If I want to delete, there's a delete icon that shows me where I want to delete. Because you want to innovate doesn't mean that you now start designing your own delete button that looks like probably I don't know what word to give, or maybe it looks like a shoe. When you want to delete, so you have to be able to be consistent. So hierarchy. Okay, so let me users should be, how do I solve problems better? So you can always solve problems better by doing research. Research is very, very important, and making sure you brainstorm. You don't just, even if you're working as as the only UX designer in your team, right? There are other designers that I'm sure you are friends with. You cannot be a no man's land. You cannot be an island on your own. You can always brainstorm with other designers. And I always tell designers to always take design thinking courses, because it's very important. Design thinking is very important. With any, if you go to any industry right now, the same design thinking processes, the same design processes that you use today is what you're going to use in any industry that you go to. So get yourself grounded with that, right? Try to do research. Make sure you're doing a proper research. Don't just do research in the beginning and leave it. Even when you're designing, look at, do users want this? There's something called A and B test it. Okay, let me test this first design and this other design, right? Which one works better for users? Always try to do research for the designs that you're doing. Also, you can also brainstorm with like-minded individuals like yourself, and always focus on design thinking. There are design thinking processes that informs your design as well. All right. Yes. He said rectangle buttons can be scary. All right, let's move forward. Hierarchy. Establish a clear visual hierarchy to guide users through the content. Important elements should stand out. Like this, you can see that in this slide you're looking at. What I want you to see is some principles of UI, because that is what the title I want you to see. That is what that, so you don't so they're like I said, you need to take courses, right? And Jupiter Academy would, I think they're giving like a scholarship, and Barry would, cover that in at subsequent time during this call, right? So make sure that your typography, even your image, as little as your image, as little as your text, as little as your illustrations, have visual hierarchy, right? Your call to action, or a text cannot be a text that does not really have, that's not really functional, not doing anything. Maybe like a logo, maybe it's a okay, let me just show you something, right? Imagine if this logo on this place was so large, taking up space where the email is supposed to be or password is supposed to be, right? The logo is not really important. So why make it large, right? So what we need to do as designers is to make sure that everything visually, and like the experience they have, the hierarchy of everything that we are designing are in place and should stand out, right? Provide feedback and relevant feedbacks. Provide immediate and relevant feedback to users for their action. Imagine if this call drops, right? And I don't even know. I'm still talking and it's still going. There's no sorry, it looks like your call does drops. Or maybe my internet is unstable, or maybe something I'm trying to share to the group is not working, or something like that, right? There's no feedback that tells me, oh, sorry, unstable internet, oh, sorry, I couldn't share this to the group, try again. Those feedback help you to know, all right, I have performed this action, maybe I've onboarded myself into a product, and I imagine I just finished complete, and what happens was you just take me to my dashboard. No, okay, successful or processing. Those feedback at every intervals is a story. It helps users be able to understand this product, right? It helps. So I think I spoke about storytelling with Jupiter Academy, and I think you need to listen to that. It's on Twitter Space, so you can actually listen to it. So storytelling is actually very important. Feedback is very important for your users. When they make error, tell them that they make error. If there is no balance, if their balance in their account when they want to transfer money or when they want to buy airtime is not sufficient, tell users, oh, sorry, your account balance is not sufficient to make this transfer, kindly top up and try again later. So feedbacks at every interval, always important for users. Do not play with feedbacks. Ensure that the product caters for accessibilities to users. I think I mentioned that this at the previous what I was saying previously, right? Like for example, YouTube allows you to text to speech. There's some things that users should be able to, for people that are color blinded or people that can't really see, you shouldn't make your text too tiny for them to see, right? You should make the things that are very obvious. Know how to blend your colors. There are colors and there are ways. You cannot use a blue colored button and a black text together. I will not see it, right? Obviously, you should know that a very deep color should go with a light text, right? Or using a yellow button, right, and a white colored text. You should know that yellow is very light, and using a light color text would not work. So obviously a dark color text would work for that kind of button. So it depends on the kind of color you're using. So make sure that your product or whatever you're designing is accessible for users with different disability. You can see Siri, for example. For example, on my phone, I can pick up my phone, and if I'm very tired to type, I just start talking to my keyboard. All right, please tell Joshua to buy me rice 200, beans 500, stuff like that. And it's obviously, or tell Joshua, or please, can you call me Joshua or call me Peter? You understand? So it helps you. So accessibility is very important for, even in fact, I tell people, if you're designing for accessibility, you are designing for every user. That's the truth. If you're designing for accessibility, know that you're designing for every user, because this is because not only the people with disabilities would use those products that are accessible, even normal people, like, obviously people with disabilities are normal people, but even people without disabilities, I'm so sorry to say that, would can if they use that product, right, they are still it still caters for a very wonderful user experience, like for them, right? Rice is coming up shortly. So thank you. All right. So let's look at the importance of UI UX. The success of any product is measured based on the value offered and the experience of users. UI UX design plays a crucial role in developing digital products that address a user's needs directly. Right? All right. So let's look at the importance. You can't hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm sure you should be able to hear me. Let me know if you can hear me so that I can move forward. I confirm that you can hear me. Okay, thank you very much. So, importance of UX design: create a positive impression of a product, right? A user's impression and experience determines the acceptance level a product will attain in the market. See, let me tell you, the same problem that Mr. A is solving is the same. There's no unique All right, so I think I'm on. Yeah, so Nigeria happened to me, and I'm sorry about that. Hopefully this doesn't trip off again. I honestly don't know why it is tripping off. But my network has been awesome. But you see my village people. So I'm just gonna try and present again. All right, so let's so that we can continue from where I stopped. And I have less than 20 minutes, so I'm gonna take this quickly, and I'm sure they're gonna share the slide. I think we covered a lot, right? So I was talking about users being able to adopt products that will leave a lasting impression. If I can come into my product and use it, at ease, your product allows me have text to speech. I don't have to struggle to find what I'm looking for, right? It leaves a lasting impressions on users. Users will want to be able to continue using that product every single time. All right, indispensably attract and sustain users' attention within a short period of time. I told you from the start of this conversation, if a user comes to your product and they waste even at least 5 seconds, that product is not usable. Go and test it again. I'm telling you, users should be able to understand even the littlest, because the truth is, how many users do you want to be looking at? Is it when you imagine users that are using your products in UK or India, right? And you think you now start flying to India, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, and Nigeria so that you can be showing them how to use your products, right? So there are a lot of users and millions of users that will use your products, right? They need to be able to understand how to use these products within a short period of time. So user UX assures users and gain trust through seamless experience with the product, right? I think I've said this already. It enables businesses to convert prospective customers into loyal customer. I said that not all every product, no product is exactly unique, but every product has a unique customer user. The fact that using PiggyVest and CarryWise doesn't not make you, right, a unique user for CarryWise or PiggyVest. You are a unique user for PiggyVest, as well as you being a unique user for CarryWise. Because the approach to which they are solving their product or problem is different, right? Ultimately, it improves a product usability and responsiveness. Good user experience always improve usability. Me being able to, you don't even need to design so much aesthetics. If your product is functional, if your product is tested, it would, improve the product's usability, right? Or the responsiveness, how your product is responsive to different devices or different layouts like mobile devices, laptops, and web, right? That's what good UX design do. All right. Let's look at some skills needed and some tools used in UI UX. So there's some skills that are needed in UX design, and these skills are somewhat important to know, but the tools are not necessarily is not the tools used in UX design here are not mandatory for you to know how to use everything, right? But some designers use it, and that's why there are tools that are used and skills that are needed, right? So visual design, user research, wireframing, interaction design, prototyping, empathy, usability testing, collaboration, design thinking, like I mentioned, design system, very important, storyboarding, responsive design, and communications. You being able to communicate to your stakeholder, you're not shy. You've designed something but you cannot communicate your work. That's something that is very, very important for you to know how to do. Being able to communicate, I solve this problem. This is the approach I use. And when you guys are having a brainstorming session in office, right? You're not sitting down and closed. You don't know how to say anything. Or maybe when they are giving you feedback on your work, when they say, I don't like the fact that this button, I think this button should be blue, not pink. You now start crying. Hey, they are saying I cannot design well. Being able to take feedback, communicate, and if someone is maybe giving you a hard time, you've been able to communicate your frustration. Even if you are unmotivated in the office, tell somebody that can, your head of design or someone, your manager, that can understand you and know how to communicate. Not that you communicate, people are stressing me in this office, please, I don't want, know how to communicate effectively. That is a very important skill for you to do, and know how to communicate your work, internally within your team and externally with stakeholders with the business. right? Tools used in UX design. Figma, that's a very, very prominent tool that people always use. Miro is basically for for user flows, drawing user flows collaboratively, or maybe even lo-fi, when you want to brainstorm. Miro is actually a brainstorm software that helps UX designers. So Adobe Creative Cloud consists of the Photoshop, the Illustrator, the After Effects. So UX designers use this to add a bit of magic to their design work, right? InVision, Sketch, Balsamic, Zeppelin, and ProtoPie. So these tools are tools that are used sometimes. So it depends on the kind of organization you're working in one organization you're working may require you to use Sketch and Figma and maybe FigJam. Another organization you're working in might just need you to use Miro and Figma alone, right? So it depends if you're working as a generalist or a specialist. A generalist means sense that you're working as a UX researcher. You're starting from the beginning. It's a UX researcher. You're doing the design. You're doing every single thing. You are also the brand designer of that team. You're designing the design system and every other thing. Do you use all these tools? How long will it take for you? I said it before, these tools are not a necessity, and I mentioned it. The same tool you use in company A is not the same tool you use in company B. In company A, you can use Figma and Miro. In company B, you can use Sketch, Figma. It doesn't matter. But the most important as if there's a necessity to be used. So make sure you learn how to use Figma, because Figma is the most clear on that, right? So, well, we're almost at the end of the slide. Careers in UI UX. Like I said, some people are generalists, some people are specialists. So these are careers for specialists that are taking this UI UX that want to go into the UI UX field. You can decide to be a UX designer or a UI designer. You can decide to be a UX researcher, a visual designer. You can decide to be a UX writer that writes. Then can I see a product designer? So what differentiates a product designer from a UI UX designer is the fact that the product designer goes through the overall process. So the product designer starts from the beginning point when the product is in the research phase, looking at, okay, this is how we can improve, to when they are designing the products. Even there's still going to be research that's going to be done when they are designing that product, right? Till the end, when the product has launched in the market, they still monitor the product, the growth of the product, how they can receive feedbacks and iterate and improve that particular product. So they go through the overall. They don't stop at just the usability test alone, right? They extend their expertise to even product marketing. They always look at, okay, how this product doing in the market? How many users have adopted it? How can we push these numbers to be higher? For UX designers, they might just end at the usability test. But the truth is that in Nigeria, where we are, UI UX designers and product designers virtually might be doing the same job. So it's just the name, but actually that's what they do. So interaction designers, web designers, information architects, UI UX engineer, or developer. So for UI UX engineer, you see like a job description that tells you, I don't look at job description that tells you, oh, we're looking for a UI UX designer, and but the person knows how to write HTML and CSS. They're looking for a UI UX engineer, not a UI UX designer, right? So UI UX engineer always know how to place UI UX element properly on the screen. They place these elements to the team, right? Design strategies, and the list goes on. So how to begin your UX journey? Take online courses. I think I mentioned that, and take tutorials. Wari will come in now. So take tutorials, go on YouTube, do self-directed learning, read books. I'm going to drop a book right now that you can take. Familiarize yourself with design softwares. I just said it. Make sure you familiarize yourself with Figma, how can you familiarize yourself with Figma, go on YouTube, because Figma is more visual than just understanding. Go on YouTube and start looking at, oh, how to use these Figma tools. Go on Dribble, look at inspiration and copy those inspirations. It could be a sign up page, a login page, copy them one by one, right? Join design communities to connect with fellow like-minded designers. There are a lot of design communities. You can join Jupiter community, you can join the design chicks community, you can join, I think there is entry level has a community. I think there are a lot of communities that you can join in the UX space, right? And also build your portfolio. I'm sure you've heard about portfolio before. Try to build your portfolio, because that's what you send out to hiring managers aside your resume to tell you that you are equipped for the job. So build your portfolio, show 2 or 3 case studies that you can show your design processes and how you're a good designer, how you know how you approach design problems. That's where your portfolio comes. Your portfolio speaks on your behalf without you actually speaking first, right? So Jupiter Academy is offering 60% scholarship. um so I think Barry will take over right now. So Barry, please, let's have you. Barry, if you're speaking, I can't hear you. I'm muted.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jennifer. This has been a great session. I can see a lot of people, a lot of comments. I can see everybody saying thank you. This has been a great session. Yeah. Jennifer, we're actually not giving 60% scholarship for the masterclass. It is actually 100% scholarship. Um, Yes, it's 100%. So we are going to somebody here is going to go home with 100% scholarship, but we also have like a company that is sponsoring students, which is a 60% scholarship you are sharing. But for the master class, it is 100% scholarship. So in case you don't win the master class, you can also jump on the 60% scholarship, which is every this December. But for the 100% scholarship, I'm going to drop a link. We just need you guys to answer the questions that we've prepared for you guys, and we'll select somebody that um, um, for the 100% scholarship. So yeah, basically that's all. I think you guys can also ask questions while you fill the forms, and Jennifer will answer. So please, guys, let's ask questions.
All right, so I'm gonna go through the chat, and I think I should stop sharing my screen right now. We are done. So let me stop sharing my screen. All right, so I'm gonna go through the chat and start answering questions, one by one. Frankly speaking, first impression master. This is why it's not testing. Okay, do you use all these tools? I answered that question already. Okay, thank you very much. Do I need to be a graphic designer before becoming a successful? No, please, you don't need to be a graphic designer. I studied mass communication in school. I know someone that studied medicine and he's a brilliant designer. And what he did was just to learn Figma and learn the very important. So I said learn the foundation, learn what's important. Design thinking is important. How do you do research? How do you solve problems? How do you approach design problems, right? Those are that's what's more important than your UI skill is very important, because visuality is very actually very important. You need to create visually pleasing or aesthetically pleasing UIs, but these aesthetics are also functional, whether you like it or not, right? So that is where your mind should be. How do you solve problems, or how do you solve problems that would create functionalities and great experiences for users, right? So you can anything and come into the UI UX space, right? You don't have to be a graphic designer to be a successful UI UX designer. I have seen most UI designers about how they transform. I wasn't a graphic designer. You know what, let me confess on this. I know how to use Photoshop after I became a UI UX designer, not because I wanted to, because I just felt like, oh, I wanted to learn, right? I never started as a graphic designer. I started as a fashion designer, in fact. So yeah, uh, makes me wonder if it's core requirement six or because I have no graphic design non skill. That's fine. Very, very okay. You don't need to be a graphic designer. Thank you very much. Please more light and on UX researcher. Okay, you love to be a UX researcher. I'm pretty sure you can I'm pretty sure you can take courses, right? And UX research always is they are one of the backbones. UX researchers are the backbones to design, solving design problems. They are really an amazing team, right? And UX designers shouldn't restrict themselves to just UI alone, but the research part of it, because it's the research that informs the solutions and know, okay, these are the goals, or these are the solutions that would actually make us achieve these goals. And research doesn't really necessarily stop at the beginning point where you have found, okay, these are the features that I want to include, these are the solutions that we think that, because you can always think that these are the solutions, but actually when you now design these solutions, are they what users actually want, right? So even research still comes into play when you actually make all those decisions that, okay, now that we are from the beginning stage, we said these are the solutions. Now that we've brought these solutions into life, right? Let's even test this solution. Let's do research on these solutions. Are there what users like? And when you do research on that design that you've done, right, it now shows you, or users say, oh, I don't think I want this here, I want that here. So research is actually very important. You still do research at every single point. Data is very, very, very important and very vital. What do you think about UI UX internship and volunteering? I want to believe that that's a good way to start, depending on the company, right? If a company is genuinely offering internship roles where you would learn and not when they will use you, because obviously you may not really know, but you might really tell from the job description, I would advise you do that. I also started as an intern, and I think that it's a good way for you to actually learn, if I'm being honest, right? um is it necessary as a UX designer to have some coding skill? No, it is not necessary. I only understand HTML and CSS, but I do not know how to code, and I've been a successful UI UX designer for long, right? But I can speak dev language in the sense that I can, because I learned it a bit, right? I've never used it in my work. Never ever. I've been working for years and I've never coded once at all. But did I learn it at some point in my life? I did, because of, right, I thought it was, but it helps me just be able to inspect, designs, and not really so much, but at least help me to be able to inspect designs to an extent. So it's not necessary at all. It is not a necessity at all. Is there a specific app or place I can learn about design thinking? You can take the Jupiter Academy course if they're offering, right? Because they'll obviously teach you design thinking. And you can also take a course on Udemy on design thinking. That's the course I also took on design thinking. It's like I took the course for like 3-5 hours and I got the certificate. And also, because that course is more advanced, right? Design thinking is actually more advanced there, so you might not be able to pick it up. So I suggest that you start small, where you start in a for an academy like Jupiter, where they will teach you step by step on empathy, ideation, and all the rest of that. Right, is always better. Um, After taking course on their design thinking, where do I start? Where do you start from? Where do you start your career from? You start your career by by actually building your portfolio first of all, and making sure you don't just stop at taking courses. Make sure that your UI is also very important, because like I said, the UI informs the UX, right? And the UX informs the UI. So if you cannot design an interface that informs the experiences that users want to have, it's a very low blow for your UX or your course that you have taken, right? Make sure to always improve your interface skills. That's very important as well, right? So from there, you can actually sync with designers, and you guys should build product projects together. There is something called accountability partners. Build accountability partners where you can always look at account for the designs that you're doing, right, in the UX space, and you guys can build products together and you can actually push it on your portfolio, right? Weird questions: how do you practice your design skills to improve? Should you replicate design you found online, or do you use more results, yield more improvements, right? When you replicate designs and watch videos, so when we're watching videos on how to see, okay, how to probably use the software, how to maybe learn how to use auto layout, right? And so you use from the knowledge of that, you replicate designs on Dribble, on all these other website or platforms, stick paste it on Figma and start copying it step by step. Because if you imagine, if you're replicating three designs every week, those designs always for the same design stack, or the same way they are stacking it, and a design here, the same way it's structured. You may not replication, you know how to, you know where and why this is stacked here, what is why it should be in this other place, and why the button is not supposed to be in this other place. You can read books as well. You can read this book called Refactoring UI. Refactoring UI is a very, very powerful and wonderful book. It helps you inform your interface properly. After gaining knowledge on UI UX, how can I start getting jobs and gig? Go calm down. Okay, so you can start getting jobs and gig by applying for jobs. Like I said, don't just stop at applying alone. Make sure you make the you know effort to tailor your application to that particular company. Write a cover letter if need be, and don't just stop at applying alone. Send an email. Post your work out there. How did I get a very big job, a job that gave me a very wonderful salary? I posted my work on LinkedIn, and the head of that department found me and offered me a job straight up. So that's what happened. So you don't know who is looking at your design, you don't know who is looking at your work, you don't know, you know obviously, even if you post your work out there, you might even get feedback. You don't know the kind of people that you might meet doing what you're doing. Don't just stop at applying for jobs. Always reach out, write emails that, oh, I applied for this particular job, I applied for this is my skill, and this is what I can bring to the table. And you can even go as far as looking at their product, doing research on that particular product of the company, and seeing ways that you can improve on, and tell them how you can improve their product. You saw, oh, made a research, I saw that this and that. I think that if you do this, then you can always improve on this particular product. I think it will call users attention more if you make the button more visible. If you want talk about more on my skill, please reach out to me, blah 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 blah. All right. The UI informs the UI advisor. Can you explain more on iteration? Iteration is just like, um, you know, always designing over and over and over again until you probably get close to perfection of the design work you're doing, right? Because the first design might not always be the best design. So you always have to improve and always design and design and design. And that's why there's sometimes that most times there's no product that is perfect in the market, right? And there's always room for update our new app. We've updated our app, and then when you come, you see like there is a new interface in that app or something. So iteration is just like you over designing and design again for better improvement of that particular thing you're designing. All right, so I don't have time anymore. How do you deal with the problem of being a newbie, right? If you call yourself a newbie, you stay a newbie. Tell yourself that you're not just a newbie. Do the inner work that you can do. Try to take courses, learn properly, and you don't need to tell people that, oh, you don't even need to say I'm applying. You don't need to place it on yourself that I'm a newbie, I'm an intern, I want to go up for an internship role. See yourself as a UX designer. Whether you're an intern or not, you're a UX designer, right? A newbies are even you be a lot of newbies, so you can connect with a lot of people. I think I'm gonna take last two questions. In 2 years of frequent practice, is 2 years of frequent practice enough to become a better junior designer? Hey, 2 years of frequent practice. What are you doing with 2 years, my dear? Yeah, just don't waste your time. 2 years is a lot to even call yourself a junior designer. Look at yourself as a proper designer. I did not take 2 years for me to get my first job. After 3 months of learning, I got my first job, right? So depends. So don't call yourself. Don't look at yourself. Don't cut yourself. Don't give yourself some slack, right? If you believe you can, you can. You're halfway there. Don't sell yourself short. Is Figma for free? Yeah, Figma is for free, but they have a free paid plan. But I don't reckon that it's really needs in an organization where you're working. They'll probably have the paid plan. Thank you so much for the answer. You're welcome. And guys, this is where I stop so Buhari can take the stage. Thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate having you guys here. Say please mentor me. All right. All right, you can take the stage, please, Buhari, if you're here. I dropped it. I just dropped it, so that's it. Yeah, I get that a lot. Thank you, Peter. I get that a lot. All right. Please let me know, Buhari. I'm waiting for you on the call.
Hi, Jennifer. We have 1 more minute.
Okay, I'm done. Basically, so you can take the
Okay, I don't
floor.
know if I've dropped the link to the scholarship, but yeah, okay, I think I did. So, guys, if you want to win our scholarship, please just fill that form. This is the form again. And yeah, thank you, Jennifer, so much for your time. I myself have learned a lot and really appreciate your time, your efforts. And I can see you have a lot of fans, like in the comment section. Like a lot.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you so much, Buhari.
Yeah,
Thank you.
on that note, we call it a day. Thank you, guys. And bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.